of us, and thank you for those who are here and who were enticed by the bagels and whatnot. Like, thank you very much. We do have a guest speaker. At the moment, she's not answering her cell phone, so hopefully she'll show up towards the end. But my name is Rachel Barker, and we are talking about abortion today. And I know it's a really controversial subject, and I think that's why most people kept walking and wouldn't acknowledge it, because they don't want to talk about it. They have their stance on it, and that's it, and they don't want to talk to anyone about it. But we are talking about it, and we're talking about the issues with abortion. We're talking about who it affects, and what are some ways that we can improve what's going on today. So, one thing that started out, there are 1.2 million abortions performed every year. And that was taken by the Center for Disease Control in 2004. And this was a number that was down from previous years. And it's a huge number this huge number that's going on. And to put that in perspective, if you were to take all of our wars, our American wars, from the Civil Revolutionary, Korean, Vietnam, World War I, II, Afghanistan, Iraq, and combine all our casualties that we had through all of our world history, or all of our American history, none of it comes close to the amount of abortions we've had in the last 35 years since Roe v. Wade was passed. And I ask why, why are so many abortions taking place? One of the reasons is I think it's not being taken seriously. A lot of women get abortions just because of birth control. It's an inconvenience or whatever, so they just have abortions. And there are, I think, alternatives to that. There are people you can turn to at least get another perspective on things and to really think about it. I mean, how many people do you know, not only who have had an abortion, but who have had multiple abortions? I know a 19-year-old girl already had 3 abortions. For me, that's someone who's not looking at the consequences, not taking it seriously enough, and it needs to be taken seriously because it does affect women, it affects men, it affects the child at stake, which is all these pictures you see here. These are pictures of a child in the womb. And it's really amazing because this is 5 months. And this is only a couple weeks. This is 8 weeks. And by all this time, so much is going on. And so I think this is what people really need to get in touch with. The heart's beating, they have fingertips, they're inhaling and exhaling, they're kicking, they're on sleep cycles. So much is going on, but we're disconnected from what's at stake, and that's a child, and that's a life. And that's something we're taking for granted. And I don't know why. I don't know why so many women think that they have to have an abortion, because there are options. There's adoption, and there are organizations that will help you, and they're good people. And I think the people who are pregnant or are surprised that they're pregnant are good people, and if they let themselves be pregnant and give birth, they'd be surprised at how strong they could be, and what an amazing mother they could be. Come on in. Oh, hi, Linda.
Are you Rachel?
I am.
Hi, Rachel.
Perfect. Linda, we were just getting started. I was kind of giving some background on what we're talking about today.
Okay.
The issues with abortion.
Okay. So I'll just sit and listen.
Yeah. And then we'll just call you up. Thank you for coming, by the way. We have bagels and juice, whatever you need. So we were talking about just some of the issues and how abortion is so widespread and who it affects. One of which is the child at stake. Another is women and kind of the pressure that's put on them. And that being said, I want to introduce Eva, who's going to talk a little bit about her experiences with abortion. A lot more people than I Come on in.
So, I was one of those people, I was like, you know what, if I get pregnant ever, I'm going to get an abortion. That was number one thought, totally. And then, in December, I was like, where is my period? So I took a pregnancy test. I was like, I can't even remember the last time I had a period. And when that stick turned blue, I was like, this has got to be wrong. I got to get another one that says pregnant, not pregnant. And yep, there was the pregnant little thing. I was like, oh crap. And then that's when everything changed. I was like, I even made an appointment to Planned Parenthood, and I walked in, like my stomach was sick, and I was like, I don't know if I can go through with this. And then I decided to talk to people about it. I talked to my mom, my dad, and that was the most, I could not talk to my dad about it. It was so hard. It was so scary. And when I told him, I remember he sat and he's like, he asked me 2 questions. He asked who the father was, and I was like, well, of course, this guy that I was seeing. And then he just said congratulations, and then that was it. And it was actually my sister who was like, you're going to get an abortion. I'll make the appointment, I'll be there, and everything like that. When we talked to the father's parents, he was like, abortion is the #1 way to go. You don't want to ruin your life. And my issue is with it is don't let someone else make that decision for you. Don't, like, hear what they have to say, hear what their issues are on it, but what it comes down to is it's your decision. You're the one who's in that position. No one else has to live with that choice but you. And staying pregnant was really the best thing that ever happened, because you get to see the amazing growth of your child. Like, this was 10 weeks, and you could already see the little baby moving when they took the sonogram. And then this was 17 weeks, and already the spine is like, you could see the spine of her. And then this is my favorite picture because she was just laying, and you see the whole, like, her whole profile, and then this, she looks like a tiny little human. And this is 18 weeks, and she's human already. And then this is her little foot, and it was the best decision I ever made. My argument was, you know what? I got myself into this position, like, I gotta live with the consequences, and it was the best decision ever. That's all.
Thank you, Eva. Eva did a really brave thing, and she talked about it. She came out to her parents about it, and I think that's one thing that young girls are afraid to do, especially if they're teenagers. They're so terrified of how their parents are going to react. And in her case, her father, who she was more afraid of than anything, said congratulations. And I think if more girls could do that, could be that brave, and talk to their parents about it, they'd be shocked at the results instead of having to turn to abortion because they're so afraid and terrified of that. Eva is an example of a woman who's affected by that choice of having to make a choice, abortion or not. Another thing is men are highly affected by this, and I don't think that they get enough credit. That's their offspring too, and they kind of have to take the back seat in their role. And I want to introduce Brandon, who has been affected by that. Thank you. Brandon will share his story with you.
How's it going, you guys? You look a little surprised, Eric. I've known this guy for about 7, 8 years, and he has no idea that any of this has happened to me. We're about to find out. When I was 13, I got my first girlfriend. We were together for about 2 years. And, boyfriend and girlfriend, you do what boyfriend and girlfriends do. And at that young an age, you do stupid things. And it's easy, like everyone knows, wrap it up. Take the proper precautions. But when you're stuck in the heat of the moment, it's real easy to say, pardon the French, but I'll ignore it, actually. Forget it. They say, forget it. Let's just do this. If I pull out, it's okay. Stop laughing. But it wasn't okay. And when I was 15, freshman year, I found out she was pregnant. And I'm 15 years old. I could barely wipe my own ass. How am I supposed to take care of another kid, It's kids take care of kids. And I wanted to abort the child. I didn't know what to do, but bottom line, it was her body, it's her decision. So I told her whatever she decides, I support it. I'll do whatever you want me to do. It's her choice. And she said, let's keep it. I can't do it. And I say, okay. And I tell my dad. And, of course he's pissed. He's really pissed. Because it's not like it was a stroke of fate or luck or chance or circumstance. It was our fault. And for about a week, I was going through the motions, getting ready to drop out of school, getting ready to look for an under-the-table job. I actually got a $5 an hour job at a Chinese restaurant because I